Hello, this is Darek, Let's Polish channel, and today I would like to tell you something which might be very useful and helpful, because as I know some of you, some of my international friends want to travel to Poland, and it would be great to know about ways of communication in our country. In Poland you have plenty of ways of traveling, and I'm going to tell you how to travel safe, cheap and easy. Some of you also asked me if Poland is safe as a country. In my opinion, for me, as a Polish person, I would say it's safe. It's nothing dangerous in traveling by bus or by train and so on, so you don't need to worry about it. So let's start. First, and probably most common and most popular way of traveling is to travel by bus. But bus in Poland, in Polish language actually, it's not as obvious as you might think, because bus, we say bus, it's not the same as autobus. It's similar but not the same. Bus is something smaller, it's a smaller car which takes about up to 30, maybe 40 people, and autobus is a bit bigger, so let's divide it. In this case it's actually autobus miejski, so once again, bus is smaller and it travels from a big city, maybe a huge city, to smaller places around like villages and so on. Autobus miejski, it moves only inside the city and maybe up to 10 kilometers in suburbs, for example. Autobus, like PKS, I'm not sure if we still have PKS's, I will explain it in the description, what's this. It travels from, for example, from Warsaw to Krakow. But I will tell you something more about autobus, and I will even recommend you a company from Poland which is very, very popular and common. Anyway, how much is autobus, bus and autobus miejski? Bus is about 5 złotych for 30 kilometers, in my opinion, and as I remember, maybe it's different in different parts of our country, but still it's not very expensive. In bus it works like that. You go to a driver and you say poproszę bilet do Warszawy. You pay 5 złotych, you get the ticket or not, and you travel to the city. In autobus miejski it's very similar, but you can buy a ticket, you validate it, and you can travel for 1 hour, within 1 hour time around the city. You can go there and there, it's nothing like you have to go out at this particular station. But I think it's very similar in your country also, isn't it? And one interesting and maybe a bit funny thing referring to busy, those smaller. It's usually very crowded. For example, if there is, let's say, 10 seats or 20 seats, so this bus probably will take twice people more. Can you believe it? So all of those people who have no seat, they have to stand. So when you catch a bus in a half of a way of destination, you will probably be standing because of no free places, no free seats. Another option is pociąg, train in English. Podróżowanie pociągiem w Polsce. Train might surprise you. On the one hand, it might be very cheap and comfortable. You can read your book, you can listen to music, you can talk to your friends, and whatever you want to do, even work on your laptop. I said it's cheap. From Kraków to Warszawa, it's about 50 złotych. So I would say it's not very expensive. And you have to remember that this way is probably fastest, and you have a helicopter from Kraków to Warszawa up to 3 hours. Yeah, something like that. But on the other hand, there is a logistical mess. You know, they cannot manage it. I think they have some problems. I mean, in railway lines, trains are late, there are lines renovations, and other accidents. Sorry, taki mamy klimat. But if you're lucky, you will be faster, easier, and cheaper. Of course, comparing to driving a car, for example. What about that? You can also rent or hire a vehicle, a car. But why? For example, if you're in a place and there are a lot of interesting places, but those places are scattered, like here is a castle, there is a mountain, and here is a church, and there is a cave. You know, a lot of interesting places, but within 20 kilometers. It would be too difficult to walk there, take a bus or even taxi, because taxi might be too expensive in this case. So it's good to rent a car. How much is this? The cheapest I found is for 120 zlotych, which is not pretty expensive, I think. It's Suzuki Swift. And for 250 zlotych you can rent something more interesting, I would say, something bigger. I mean, Tucson, you read it like that? Tucson? I would say Tucson. Never mind. Next option for traveling, if you want to get to a place very fast, and this is not very far, you can take taksówka. Taksówka, taxi, easy to understand. But as you know, it's probably one of the most expensive way of traveling, and on the other hand, the fastest in the city. How much is taksówka? It also depends on many things, city and time. New Year's Eve, even 4 times more expensive. But normally I would say it's about 3 zloty for 1 kilometer. I might be wrong, maybe you can fix me if you know something more about this, because to be honest, I don't travel too often, I don't use taksówka too much, maybe twice a year. You know, it's like we get to a place and we pay, I don't ask how much kilometers it took. And I would recommend you something before you will take taksówka. I mean, talk to the driver, to taksówkarz. Ask him how much is the service. For example, you can ask, ile będzie kosztował przejazd na ulicę Marszałkowską 45? And then make sure he will answer the price properly, that you understand it properly, because he might say, będzie jakieś 5 zł. Did you understand me? Are you sure if I say 5 zł or 50 zł or 15 zł? The same in English. If you'd ask in English how much is this, and he will answer about 50 zł. 15, 50, it's very similar for us, for Polish people. Mostly at the beginning, and mostly if you don't know this language very good. So 50, 15. If you're not sure, you can ask him if he could write it down, maybe on a paper or with his mobile phone, and then you will be sure. Okay, those ways were pretty obvious and popular, and everyone probably knows about this. What about some other options? Have you heard about Polski Bus? Polish bus, literally Polish bus. They didn't pay me a penny for this recommendation, but they could. Polski Bus, if you like it, remember, Let's Polish recommends you, the small YouTuber with big ambitions. And it's funny because I heard about Polski Bus from my friend from UK. He traveled here in Poland and he used Polski Bus many times, and I've checked some offers. It seems to be maybe not cheap, super cheap, but in good prices. For example, from Kraków to Warszawa, about 30 zlotych, even a bit cheaper than trains. And as I know, there are even cheaper propositions, but you have to find something like a happy hour or something like that, when there is, for example, only one free place, and you can order it for 1 zloty or 10 zlotych or something like that. But as I said, regular price from Kraków to Warszawa was about 30 zloty. It's a bit longer than train because it takes about 5 hours. And last one for today, BlaBlaCar. I bet it works in your country. In Europe, it seems to be pretty common and popular. Basically, BlaBlaCar connects people, drivers and passengers. If you travel to Warsaw and you have 3 free places, 3 seats, you can find some people who also want to travel to the same city, and they will pay, let's say, 1/3, fuel price. So everyone is the winner in this case, because you will be there cheaper. In theory, it seems to be interesting. You can find some interesting people and you travel in a good atmosphere. Hence the driver smokes like a dragon and he listens to a music which is not your favorite. Pozdrawiam Niemców. Average prices I found from Kraków to Warszawa was about 30 zł, but you can also find 18 zł, 15 zł, and so on. Did I miss something? Do you know any other possibilities, ways of traveling in Poland? Something which is cheap, fast and easy. If you know, please share with me, with us in a comment. Maybe we will start an interesting discussion about it. And if you don't subscribe me, you can do it very easy because you need to click this round button and that's all. You will get notification about my new videos and read the description below. And if you use Facebook, you can also like my website because I add there on my Facebook website more interesting things like fast exercises, some useful, sometimes less useful things, but always I care about Polish language and always I want to insert some Polish words or sentences in all those materials. So stay tuned and see you next time in another Let's Polish.